Hey leaders, Turin Stevenson here for the Turin Stevenson Leadership Channel. In this episode, we're going to be talking about how to make your people feel important and why it is so crucial to your leadership. Come on, let's get into it. Okay, in this episode, we're talking about making people feel important. There are some really simple techniques that you can employ when you engage and communicate with your team or even other people, your clients, anybody that you're engaged with. If you can learn to make people feel important, they will be more bought into you as a person and more bought into what you want to say. And, ultimately, if you're leading, you want people to buy into you and be able to follow you in the direction that you are leading them. And one of the great ways you can do that is making people feel good about themselves and making them feel important in your estimation. So here's a couple of tips. Before we get into them, this episode is brought to you by my free goal setting guide, and you can get that in the link below in the description. All right, here we go. So the first thing is this: learn to compliment and praise your people regularly. Look for little ways that you can compliment and praise people. If you notice them doing a job well done, compliment them on it. Say, hey, you did a great job there. I love what you did here. If you notice something that they've taken initiative on, hey, well done on thinking about that. That's really, really fantastic. Compliment little things or notice little things like hair color or outfit. Is this a new outfit? I really like the way that that dress looks on you. Or did you get your hair done this week? It looks really good. Compliment them on their appearance. Be generous with your compliments and be generous with your praise. When you lead with praise and compliments, you're actually building people's self-esteem. You're making them feel good about themselves, and when they feel good about themselves, they are going to feel good about you. They're going to feel connected to you. They're going to appreciate it, and they're going to want to actually buy into you and work with you. The second thing is this. That was 3, 2. Second thing to making people feel important is show appreciation. Whenever somebody completes a task for you, whenever somebody does a job for you, make sure you always thank them. It's a simple thing, but take the time to thank them. And if it's a big thing, thank them publicly, thank them in front of people, show your appreciation. Even thank them at the end of the day. One of the habits I've gotten into with the organization that I lead, which is a church and not-for-profit, whenever somebody says goodbye to me, I thank them for their hard work today. Thanks for the great day today. I appreciate all your hard work. Just by showing appreciation on a regular basis, whenever they do something for you, gets them to really know that their work is, one, noticed, it's valued, and they will work harder for you and they will go over and above for you. One of the things that was recently said to me in my organization was a gentleman that works with us, and he's an elderly gentleman and he's worked in a lot of industries, and he said, I've never felt more appreciated than I do here. And that meant the world to him, and he actually works so hard for us and does so much for us, but the fact that we appreciate him on a regular basis is what really makes a difference for him. And he expressed that after 50 years of working various jobs in different companies and careers. He expressed that appreciation was very much appreciated by him, and it made him a very valuable member of our team. It makes him a very valuable member of our team. Third one is this: learn people's names and learn to use them. There's an old saying that says a person's name is the most beautiful word that they ever hear. And people like to hear their own name. People respond when you use their name. Their ears prick up and they notice when you're using their name. And so if you learn people's names and always use their name when you're greeting them, when you're talking to them, use their name in a affectionate or polite way, and you will find that people actually feel more important and valued, especially if you have a large team or a large organization that you work in. Taking the time to learn people's names is really important. Now, I work with a lot of people and sometimes I forget people's names. And so the simple thing of just saying, hey, please help me out. I've forgotten your name. Can you tell me again so I can remember? Even making an effort to remember shows them that you value them, shows them that they're important to you. So learn people's names and use them. And the fourth thing to making people feel important is this: acknowledge people when they're trying to communicate with you. Now, This can take on a couple of different forms. So let's take in person, for example. If you're in a conversation, you see somebody off to the side who's waiting for you, just a simple nod of the head, a smile, give me 1 minute, really will make them feel important and make them feel like you are noticing them and they're happy to wait. If you don't acknowledge them, if you don't at least say, hey, I've seen you and I can see that you're waiting for me, that will discourage people. It will make them feel like they're less valuable than the person that you are talking to, and it doesn't make for good relationship. The second area that I see this being a real problem, and it's really simple to remedy, is in emails and text messages and phone calls. If somebody calls you, if somebody sends you a text message or somebody sends you an email, acknowledge it. Now, if you miss the call and you can't respond immediately, that's okay. Most phones now have a little button where you can say, can't talk now, I'll give you a call back. That's a simple acknowledgement. If it's a text message and you can't give them the answer immediately, say, I'll come back to you tomorrow, or I'll come back to you next week. Not sure just yet. Don't just leave it blank. Don't just leave them hanging just because you don't have the response or you don't have the time. I'm in a meeting now, I'll call you back shortly. If it's an email, same sort of thing. Just say, hey, I'll come back to you soon. I've just got some other stuff I've got to work through. Those simple gestures mean the world. And, it frustrates me immensely when people don't just give a simple reply. If they just go silent and they don't tell you why they haven't replied, that can be really frustrating. It can be quite disrespectful, especially if somebody, it's somebody important and you need to show them a level of respect. Then always acknowledge, even if you can't respond in the moment, you have to acknowledge. And it is such a simple thing to do, but it's amazing how many people don't do it. And I would encourage you, if you want to be an effective leader, you want to make people feel important and valued, take the time to do it. So the first one was compliment and praise. Be generous with your compliments and praise. Always show appreciation whenever somebody does something for you, and just thank them generally. If they've worked hard for you that day, show appreciation for that. Learn people's names and use their names well. And the last one is acknowledge communication. Even if you can't get back to them immediately, let them know that you've seen their communication and you will come back to them shortly. So that's 4 tips on helping people feel important. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, hit that subscribe or follow button so that you can stay up to date with all our latest episodes. And we'd love to hear from you in the comments. So why don't you give us a comment, give us a like, give us a share. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to get deeper into leadership, we've got a leadership course called Leading for Success. So why don't you check it out with the link below, and we'd love to continue this conversation. Till next time, I'm Tarun Stevenson.